All right, guys, if you're thinking about living in Costa Rica, I guarantee you Gringo Pricing will come up if you haven't already heard about Gringo Pricing. Now, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give a little bit different perspective. We're going to do a little bit of deep dive on Gringo Pricing. I have talked about it many times before, but I don't know, as I've gotten older and hopefully just a little bit wiser, I think I just got a whole new kind of view of it. And we're going to get into it in a minute. Guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's not a bunch of people behind this. I don't have like 10 people working on production. It's basically just me. And of course, the two women that work for me in travel packages. But other than that, it's just me. And if you could help me out, subscribe. You want to see videos as we put them up, hit the notification bell. And do I hear Johnny? I think I hear Johnny.
Well, why not Costa Rica? That's what could be answered at the next relocation decree. My name is Johnny from Green Healthcare. I do healthcare here in Costa Rica. I'm one of the speakers at this event. That very question can be answered by experts that are coming from all over the country to answer your questions up close and personal. Down below, you got the information about the relocation retreat, Pura Vida, and always be safe.
All right, thanks, Johnny. You know what? This new relocation retreat is really going to be great. This one Sarah and I are doing, and Johnny's going to be speaking with a lot of others. I'd love to see you down there. All right, or down here. It's here. It's in Fortuna. Oh, my gosh. All right, guys, let's get into it. You know, we're going to talk about Gringo Pricing, right? So what is Gringo Pricing if you don't know? It's basically us gringos come down here to live, and we pay different prices than the locals do because we are gringos, and we supposedly have more money. That's what it is. Like, hey, why wouldn't I charge the gringo a little bit more money? He's living in my country. He's got more money than me. And I'm going to charge him a little more for this thing. Whether it's a service, whether it's, you know, rent on you want to rent the apartment and the local could get it for $300 a month, but you're going to pay $500. You're going to pay $500. So that's kind of what Gringo Pricing is. They kind of assume that we have money and why shouldn't they get a little bit of it? I'm going to tell you a little story. I've told this story before, but it really does kind of give this kind of explains it a lot. Okay, we had a really good friend. He's still a good friend. I don't see him much anymore, but his name is Walter. 16 years ago, Walter is a teacher, very unassuming, very nice, just a nice guy. And he was coming to our game nights, and we were hanging out. We'd drink coffee a lot, and he was in our life for about 2 to 5 years in the very beginning. And we were all talking, and D'Angelo needed to have some, we were talking about his pants. He goes, yeah, I need to get these pants hemmed. They're way too long. It was just one pair of pants. And Walter goes, oh my gosh, my mom does that for a little bit of extra money. She definitely sews and she could definitely do it. And so we said, well, why don't you call her? And how much would that be? Could she do it? Could she fit us in, with D'Angelo's pants? So he calls her. Now, when he asked her how much it was, we didn't know what she said, obviously, but we heard what he said. He said, but mom, they're gringos. So what happened was she said, we found out later, 1,000 colones, which is $2. It's nothing. And he said, but mom, they're gringos, which he was telling her in front of us that you can charge more, mom, they're gringos. She didn't, by the way, she didn't. And she told him as such. Now, he's a really nice guy. He didn't really think anything of that. He said it in front of us. He wasn't hiding the phone or like, mom, they're gringos. He said it. And that's kind of the overall view that they have a little bit, their attitude. So it is true. But I would kind of say, where isn't it true? Where isn't somewhere in the world somebody selling something and trying to get more for it? Are they trying to rent an apartment and get more for it? Their Airbnb? Are they selling a service? Maybe they paint. Maybe they do plumbing. Maybe they do this. Maybe they do that. Are they going to try to make as much money as they can when they do something? Yes. And if you don't know, if you don't do your homework and research, you may get what they would say down here, gringo priced. But I would say, I don't know. I used to, I think I mentioned, I've done quite a few videos on gringo pricing, and I do believe it's real, but I also believe it's a little bit stereotyped here because it's not like Gringo, making extra money is like exclusive to Costa Rica. Where in the world don't people try to make more money? So I think it's more buyer beware. I think Gringo pricing is buyer beware. Usually the first thing that people overpay on as a gringo when you come down here is your rent. Because you don't know, you want to act like you know, you don't want to act like you're stupid. So when you go there and they say that, you're like, okay, that's fine, because you're thinking, hey man, if I was in the United States, this would be way more. So I'm actually cool with this amount, even though you don't know this, but that amount could have been a lot less, because they did tack it on, because they're like, well, let me try this gringo, see if he knows what's up. So what's wrong with that? Everyone kind of does that. Are you, when you try to sell a used car, you're trying to make a couple extra bucks. If somebody doesn't do their homework and research, you look at the Kelley Blue Book, you're selling it for $12,000, but Kelley Blue Book says it's $8,200 at the most, and you're like, well, there's some dents and stuff in it. You're going to finagle, you're going to work, you're going to negotiate a price, right? So that's what I think it is, and I think this gringo pricing is a little bit stereotyped in making Costa Ricans look like they're trying to grab for the money. Well, they kind of are, but isn't everybody? I kind of had a negative slant when I first made these videos about Ticos, but I have an understanding of it. I mean, everyone kind of does that. And where is your responsibility for what you're doing? The service. So somebody comes to your house here in Costa Rica and you want to paint the wall. It's not a very big wall. And you don't talk to him about how much it is. You just have him paint, and he does a pretty good job. And then he gets done, and he goes, well, it's $500. You're like, what? What do you mean $500? Okay, so maybe you should have negotiated the price prior. How about that? So maybe take some responsibility, or maybe instead of picking Jose's cousin's boyfriend to paint your wall, maybe you get a professional to do it, where everything is professional, everything is up front, and you know you're going to get a good product, because you don't know if Jose's cousin's boyfriend can really even paint, and now he's charging you all this money. You go, oh my gosh, he's gringo pricing me. No, you're just stupid. You negotiate the price in the beginning. That's your fault, isn't it? It's not their fault. People kind of do try to get the money if they can get it. So to me, it's just doing your homework and research and knowing what something costs before you have it done. So, okay, so they try to make a couple extra bucks on you. Well, do your homework and research, and that'll never happen. I don't get gringo priced. They might try, but I just look at it as like buyer beware. This person's offering a service or selling me this product, and it's up to me to do my homework and research and see, is that cost real? Hey, I just had a friend do that, and I don't think it's that. Or should I be using better contacts in my life? Maybe, now see, I have good contacts. So if I need my wall painted, it's going to be painted well, and I'm going to know how much it is before they start. If they try to change the price for some reason, I'm going to go, oh, sorry, dude, you said the price. So gringo pricing is attempted, but I think that's attempted everywhere in the world. They just don't call it gringo pricing. You just call it, I'm trying to make an extra money, right? I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I just don't like that it's like a bad rap, like it's something against them because they're trying to make an extra buck. And yeah, they add some money to it. You trying to tell me that they don't add extra money when they sell a house to another local or a Tico? They're trying to make money, And now the thing about selling it to another Tico, the Tico probably knows exactly how much that house is worth. They know people in the neighborhood, and they've talked around. And so when somebody tries to, give them a big time number, they're like, come on, dude, come on, it's not that. And that's what you got to do. So to me, the whole gringo pricing thing came about because people don't want to take responsibility for their own decisions and the things that they did, or where they felt they got, let's say, ripped off. If you get ripped off, it is your fault. It's your fault. I came down, everyone knows my story. I got totally ripped off, totally deceived by a friend. Whose fault was that? I didn't do my checks and balances. I didn't, when if I thought he was a friend, when he said something, I believed him. And he was gringo, so I guess he was gringo pricing me. He taught me a lot, because when people make money by let's say, overpricing their service or their product, and you pay it, I guess, like the guy that ripped me off, he just thought, hey, we're doing business and you didn't do it very well and I beat you. So I think they almost think of it as a game. So if I'm on my game and I know exactly kind of how much this thing is or this service is, or I know how much the food is here, I know how much the taxi ride is, dude. Don't try to say your meter's off, and you're going to try to say, $10 when I know it's $7. Because I know now, I've learned my lessons, and I just think the whole Gringo pricing is overstated and kind of makes Tico's look maybe a little worse than it really should be when everybody does it around the world. They just don't call it Gringo pricing. They call it trying to make extra cash because you're not paying attention. I don't know. Let me know. What do you guys think? I've had a lot of different comments on videos of Gringo pricing. Some people told me that doesn't exist. The mentality does exist a little bit. I got it just like my friend Walter. It does exist. They do think we have a little extra money. And if you do get your wall painted or your plumbing fixed, you better kind of know what you're doing because you might get overcharged. But again, whose fault is it? All right, I'd like to know your comments. Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? What do you think? Especially people that live down here. Now, don't give me a bunch of examples of you getting Gringo price because I think that's just a reflection on you. But I would like to hear your thoughts, guys. I'm Michael Allen, TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hey, things are going to pop up. Thinking about living or traveling anywhere, always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica, I'm going to put my videos up against anybody's. Ciao.